Marc Henry back on the On Your Mark Show, 105.4 RPWP, thepulseradio.com. Powered and sponsored by Epic Sports Apparel. Every play I compete, I just wake up and go hard. Also, check out the On Your Mark Show YouTube channel. Click like and subscribe. Got one of the best in the game, recruit, scouting, everything you need to know. My guy, R.L. Martin, man, he's a colleague of mine now. If you don't know by now, I am with TruXposur and Championship 77. On the scouting side, media side, everything on the kid and caboodle, man. This guy's been doing it for a little while. We're going to talk to him about the Battle Royale down in Tampa, Florida this week. May 8th, May 9th is going down the Natty. It's going to be big, man. We're going to talk about that a little bit, talk a little recruiting, man, and what you need to do to get that true exposure. Come on in, Ariel. How you doing?
How y'all doing? I'm blessed.
Man, for sure. Appreciate you joining me here tonight, man.
Appreciate you having me, brother.
Man, anytime, man. Let's talk a bit about what true exposure is before we get into the Battle Royale. Explain to everybody what that is and what we're providing with true exposure.
Well, true exposure is, you'll hear it all the time. True exposure is about that 98%, that 93 to 98% of kids who don't get looked at. You know, you've got the 4 and 5 stars, wherever they can go, they're going to get noticed. And they may be on the team, and a lot of scouts and everything, they'll come and look at that one player. But if you pay attention, there's about 3 or 4 others that have the ability, if not to play D1, they definitely play D2, D3, NAIA, and JUCO. That's what true exposure is about. We want to get those kids an opportunity to go play and play for free.
No doubt. I agree. You know, and we both are in the state of Texas, headed to Florida this weekend for the Battle Royale. But you're in one of the hotbeds that, you know, I've had my guy, shout out to Ricky Gonzalez, and shout out to my guy, Mike Morris Sr. down in the SA, the San Antonio area. They feel like they get slept on a lot. Give me a little bit about San Antonio. And that has a rich tradition. We got state champions that have come from down there, Civil O'Steel, Converse, Judson. You guys were at a big showcase this weekend. Shed a little bit of light on the SA real quick.
San Antonio, man, for whatever reason, they are slept on. It is true. There is talent down here that can play at all levels in college. But for whatever reason it is, I don't know if it's the style of play or if the coaches just aren't getting the things out. I really can't tell you, because it's been my driving passion for about the last 4 or 5 years to turn that around. But I mean, from the not just San Antonio, let's talk about the Valley, let's talk about the coast. You're talking about right in that Austin area, between Austin and San Antonio, there's athletes all over South Texas that just aren't getting seen. And I kind of have a theory about it. And you can attest to this too. Those big camps where they get seen at cost a lot of that money.
Right.
You gotta go to Houston, you gotta go to Dallas, you gotta go to New Orleans, you gotta go all these places to get seen by these. And a lot of these kids, you know, we can't afford that. So that falls right back into what true exposure does, man. We want to see those kids. We want to highlight them as much as possible, reaching out, just putting their information out so that they can be seen. Coaches go by and they take a look. Hey, he might take a look and say like, hey, this guy's on RL's page. Let me go take a look at him. Next thing you know, he's got an offer.
Most definitely. And you and Mike Morris have been doing that for the last couple of years with true exposure. Now, down in the SA, it's in the middle of everything. And you talked about a little bit of that about getting out to camps, but this year, true exposure and Championship 77 flipped the script and brought it down to SA. Talk about that tournament before we get to that Battle Royale.
San Antonio was hungry. I'll tell you, man, we was hungry, man. We hadn't had, that was the first national championship 77 circuit that has ever come to San Antonio. And believe me, San Antonio and the Valley and the Corpus and Austin, everybody showed out. They showed us much love. At that time, when we had that tournament, that was the largest tournament True Exposure Championship 77 had ever put on. And that was 87 teams deep. They all came out and represented. We didn't have any big problems. Everybody, you know, they weren't used to championship because they haven't had a tournament or something down here. They were really impressed. So, I mean, they did their thing. And now, you know, the company's talked about making that an annual event.
Most definitely, man. That was a big one, man. Right up under the Southwest Regional and DFW, man. And a lot of teams got a lot of true exposure kids got a lot of true exposure that weekend. And shout out to you guys for doing that, man, and bringing it. You and Mike do a hell of a job. Been following you guys. You know, we've been back and forth here for the last couple of years because we kind of do the same thing. And, you know, I appreciate you guys pulling me in. We fam now. And I'm excited about the stuff going to the future, man. Now, again, this is R.L. Martin, TruXposur, Championship 77. It's going down to Natty, Tampa, Florida. We're going down. It's going to be about 70 to 80 teams from 10U to 18U. Give it to me. Talk about some of these guys coming in.
I'm a different dude. You know, all I can say is this is the national championship. Championship 7v7 is the only platform where you can get and be labeled a true national champion from ages 10U to 18U. Nowhere else can you get that. And I'll tell you right now, if you're thinking about coming, make sure you got your big boy draws on. These teams that are coming, they are dogs. They are dogs. You get one thing about the Battle Royale is throughout the season, anybody who wins their age division at one of our tournaments, they get a free paid bid to be in the Battle Royale. So this team has already went through 80, 90, 100, 70 teams. They've already went through that and they came out on top. So you can imagine what the talent is going to be like. And they're all wanting that. I wish I had it on me, but I don't have my ring on me right now because I was going to tell them, yeah, they're playing for that title of the national champions, and we're playing for that ring.
Most definitely, man. And the thing about it is the natty. It's the national championship. It's the end all. It's the Battle Royale. Everybody's been building up to this spring. Going into this, man. Tampa, Florida, May 8th and 9th. It's also Mother's Day weekend. Give a shout out to your mother and the women in your life that are mothers, man. Yeah,
do that. My mom, my wife won't be able to make it. Mom, but what I did is, you got to take care of it though.
No doubt, I'm in the same boat.
I got my sister. My sister's gonna take mom and everybody out for Mother's Day. I just give her a credit card. I need money on me.
No doubt, man. It's going to be a big show, man. And shout out to Jonathan Monfrey, Jacob Maxwell, Coach Stefan Johnson, some of the guys that are, at the head of this whole thing for getting this collective group. Shout out to Ben and Gina and all those guys. We're all going to be down there, and it's going to be a movie, man. If you're not going, man, you still got days to get in there, man. If you leave with that natty, you're going to be crowned, man, from 10U all the way to 18U. Now, before we get out of here, Ariel, how important is, we usually see the guys in the high school ranks, but I think the difference with us at TruXposur Championship 77 is we focus on the youth football as well. We play football. Talk about 10, 12U coming up and what that means with that TruXposur as well.
One thing is that Jonathan Mumphrey and Jacob Maxwell, they're at the top of the totem pole with Championship 77 TruXposur. They always want to take care of the future. So we see that future as Monk calls them, the babies, that 10 and 12U. You got some amazing talent that we've seen at that level. And they don't have many tournaments where they can go and display that. So we definitely want to make sure that we, at each tournament, we're giving the 10 and 12U love. And the talent level at some of those tournaments, man, matter of fact, that Plano tournament, I saw a 12U there that was going. I had to tell the coach, I was like, look here, what was his name? Buck Randall. Buck needs to be playing in 14 and 15U.
Right.
That's just how good he was at the quarterback position. And
right.
I've seen some receivers out there that at that 12U can play at the 14U, 10U can play at the 12U. But Championship we want to give them the TruXposur experience so that we can put those guys on and they can display from where they began to where they end. Just like now, I bring up one team, the St. John's Cobras. They've got a 10U and a 12U. They'll be at the Natty because they pulled off a win there. Also, Team Zap down in the Valley, that 10U team they have, they ain't in the mess with, bro, for real. They're coming and they're going to be a serious contender for the Natty.
Most definitely. I was at the Southwest Regional event, and I definitely saw some 10 and 12U teams that was slinging it around. Super impressed. Now, before we get out of here, I want you to give us social medias where, if you don't have those rosters, if you don't follow us, follow them, and give us a message about TruXposur and explain to them one more time what you're getting with that TruXposur.
With that TruXposur, you are getting, first of all, I want to say this, I'm going to plug in there also. TruXposur Championship 77 is the only circuit out there where we are live streaming your championship games. We started that a few weeks ago, and we also have Media Day. Media Day starts off on that Friday night at the host hotel, 7 p.m. We have right after that, 7 p.m. to start for the Media Day. 7:30, we've got early team check-in. That way you can avoid those those long lines in the morning. But what TruXposur does for you, man, is we want to get out and mingle. We want to get your face out there, get your team out there, get your name out there, so that at any level, you're getting exactly that, TruXposur. And TruXposur 77, you know, it was said, we came up with that idea that we play football. It's a meaning behind that. I posted it a few times, but it's a meaning behind it. We play football. It's, if you can't do it on Friday nights, you can't do it at Championship 77. That's simple.
And give out the social medias that everybody needs to follow the entire weekend. And if you want that TruXposur, you can send your huddle, you can tweet us, you can send DMs, anything you can send us, we'll get it out.
We got a Facebook, we got TruXposur. Now, everybody, I don't know if y'all know, it's TruXposur. It's TruXposur. We got TruXposur and Championship 77 on Facebook. We have TruXposur, also _, on Instagram, Championship 77 on IG as well. On Twitter, we've got Championship 77. You have TruXposur, and you have TruXposur M, which is for TruXposur Media. All of those, y'all can hit us up. Send us your huddle. Send us your highlights there. Hey, we do our best to look over those. We will critique it, everything else on the side there in the DMs, but we will post that so that everybody gets to look at it. And what that does is that gives you TruXposur.
Most definitely, man. One of the best of the game, Marc. Where can they follow you at on Twitter as well, your personal Twitter?
Hey, on Twitter, man, my personal Twitter is _RL_Marc.
Most definitely. Coming straight out to SA, San Antonio. My guy, I see him down in Florida. We're going to take a quick break here on 105.4 RPWP, TruXposur Radio.com, the On Your Mark Show. We'll be right back.